When the clock strikes midnight, all the evil things of the world shall take command.
You talk too much, you worry me to death. You talk too much, you even worry my pet. You just talk.
Welcome to part 2, a continuation from last week. Here we go.
The views expressed on the following broadcasts do not necessarily reflect those of KHLT, Take 12 Radio, or our affiliates. The opinions on this show should not be considered as medical, psychological, or professional advice and are those of the host, co-host, and guest. Take 12 Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting are not affiliated with any particular 12-step fellowship. Now, here are your co-hosts, Tony, Bruce, and the Monty Man.
And Harlan is here also. What was that? That was weird. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to the Take 12 Recovery Radio Show, The Great Reality, with Tony.
Good morning.
Bruce.
Good morning.
And Bruce's grandson, Harlan, is in the studio listening to the show. Hi, Harlan.
Hello, everybody.
There he is. Well, right on. Welcome to part 2. Part 1 last week was nasty meetings. Part 1, nasty meetings. How bad behavior undermines recovery support meetings. This is part 2 of that. And we'll do a quick review here in a few minutes. But how's it going? Bruce, how you feeling, buddy? You were gone last week.
Boy, I'm feeling a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah, boy, I'm telling you, I've experienced some muscle cramps.
Yeah.
Getting me chills.
Gives me chills thinking about it.
Yikes.
Yeah, I mean, they tightened up so bad that it was horrible.
Yeah.
Worse than a
Absolutely
Charlie
horrible.
horse? Horrible?
Well, no, it was my back and
Ooh.
my neck. So, of course, when it got into my neck, it just,
Yeah.
the headaches
Yeah.
Gee.
were tremendous. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, glad you're doing so much better.
Right?
Yeah, we don't like it when you're not here.
I know, we had to talk more.
Well, yeah. Actually, don't have a
maybe
problem
if
with
I could exercise these muscles, they wouldn't do that.
it. Tony, what's going on?
Oh, nothing. Still trying to wake up.
How's the Golden Arches?
The Golden Arches are amazing. It's my 2 days off, so
Oh, 2 days off.
switching,
Yeah.
bosses and everything.
You do deserve a break today.
Yes, I do deserve a break.
So get up and get away from
Well, I almost didn't
the
get
office.
up. I'm only not even an hour up yet, so
Take the broom and the mop. No, I'm off today.
yes.
What's the bottom? No, I'm off today.
Is that really a
You don't remember the theme song?
no?
Take a broom and a mop. What's the bottom and top? Nothing's quite as clean as my burger machine.
Shut up.
You deserve a break today. So get up. And
You're hired.
Yeah.
Monty's hired.
Yeah. You remember that? You remember that, Bruce? Remember that song?
No,
You don't remember that song?
no.
Lettuce, cheese,
Our burger machine.
our burger machine. Lettuce, cheese, pickles, something or other. Sesame seed bun.
I remember that one.
I've never worked at McDonald's.
I never did either. I don't know how you do it. I just don't. I cannot multitask at all. I have no idea. I mean, I managed 2 Taco Bells back when we used chalkboards to take orders. I can handle a chalkboard and 3 different items. But 100 different items in different ways being yelled at me, I don't.
Oh no, that's back boot. That is the part I dodged for 6
Oh,
years.
my word,
That
I
is
hate
where I saw you guys was in the back boot. So you have to take order. You have to listen to the person who's in this ear, which is luckily in the good ear, and then try
Yeah.
to listen to anybody who comes up behind you, and then take orders on top of that while you're trying to have a discussion with this person, and then wash dishes. And oh, my first week, I
Unbelievable.
wanted to shoot myself in the head, but
I
it's easier now. I have a better vibe on it.
I'd get stressed. Is what I would get.
I want my first day. I went home and cried. I was like, I can't do it.
Oh, lordy, 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 lordy.
But now I'm a pro.
All right, so I think I got this behind the green glass door thing figured out.
Tell Bruce about
So
that.
we'll see if Bruce can get this. We'll only spend just one. We'll just do one. All right. Listen very carefully, Bruce. There is a green glass door. Behind the green glass door, there are certain items, and there are certain items that are not allowed behind the green glass door. For example, there are glasses behind the green glass door, but there are no bifocals. So can you guess of something that is behind the green glass door and is not behind the green glass door? Think about it. He is baffled.
Okay, so are there bunnies behind the green glass door, but no rabbit?
So there's
No, there would be rabbit.
Oh, but not the bunnies. That's right. It was reversed, I think.
No, there would be bunnies and rabbits. But there's no... Yeah, because we're talking about a double...
I thought he said yeah.
I said, is there jelly beans but no candy canes? He said, yes, there's jelly beans and no candy canes.
What one did I say the first time? I can't remember.
Well, the whole thing is, it's got to be any word that doesn't have a verb in it. A verb or a noun? What's A-E-I-O-U?
Well,
Those are nouns,
then
right?
the answer would be yes, there's glasses, but no glasses.
There would be glasses, but no bifocals.
No bifocals.
No, there's bifocals, but no glasses.
No, there's glasses, but no bifocals.
No.
Glasses has 2 S's.
But bifocals have 3 consonants.
I don't know, but anyway, it's very
So
confusing.
like there's apples, but there's leaves, but no bark.
There's
What did you say
there's
yesterday?
not leaves. There has anything that is behind the green glass door has to have 2 consonants.
Apples, but no bark, or something like that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So there is wood. Wait a minute. No, there can't be wood.
There's trees, but no wood.
Because O is a verb. I mean, it's a noun, isn't
Well,
it?
I looked it up yesterday,
A-E-I-O-U.
and there's actually different ways to play it. So you can say, there's a rabbit, but no hare, because they're 2 of the similar objects. The moon, but no sun, because it's 2 opposites. Glass, but no window, something that's part of something else.
Right. But he was going with
Consonants.
Consonants.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to be consonants. And it was extremely confusing. If I had hair, I would not have hair today. But I don't have any hair anyway, so. Anyway, if you've ever played behind the green glass door, good luck to you in playing that game. It's very challenging. For a brain like mine, it's too complicated. All right.
There's a song called The Green Door.
There is? Mm-hmm. But is it a green glass door?
No, I don't know about the green glass door.
The green door?
Ooh, there's a song, but no artist.
No, because
There's
there's
an artist.
there's no double
That's
consonants
right.
in
So
song.
it'd be there's an artist, but no song.
A-R-T-I-S-T. That would be correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Yay.
There's 2 T's.
Word.
So, yeah. Word. Yeah, word. Oh, boy. All right, let's take a break. I'm exhausted. We'll be right back right after this.
How many people do you personally know who struggle with a life-controlling habit such as drugs and alcohol? How many times have you tried to share with them that there is hope waiting for them with no response? Teen Challenge has a solution. Our ministry's mission is to evangelize people who struggle with bondage from addiction. We love to reach out to the broken through church services, youth groups, events, and projects. This is a great opportunity for community leaders to partner with a ministry that has been around almost 60 years and share the message that God transforms lives. Are you a youth pastor or leader in the Willamette Valley region? Teen Challenge has a powerful drug prevention program called Stay Sharp. This targets the teenage audience about dangers and consequences of addiction on a more personal level. You can find out more at www.staysharp.us. Call 541-344-4328 or 541-491-1004 to schedule outreaches or learn more about our ministry's powerful presentation in your area. Be the reason someone finds hope, seeks freedom, and accepts change in Jesus Christ our Lord.
There we go.
And now,
And now,
It's the quiz of the week.
That's right, everybody. It's time for Take 12 Radio's Quiz of the Week, sponsored by that recovery magazine, the 12-Step Gazette. Visit their website at 12stepgazette.com. Now, here's the Monty Man.
that's right. Here I am. Alrighty, can you guess the little soundbite right in the beginning there, Tony?
Well, I know it's Dracula. I just don't know what movie.
It's from the 1977 film Dracula.
Oh, I was right there.
Yes. So Tony should be well prepared for this trivia question. We talked about this yesterday. Dracula trivia.
To a point we did.
Dracula trivia. All right, you have 4 and a bonus. Actually, other than maybe one of these are all really easy, Bruce.
I didn't know any of them.
Easy.
I'm not going to get any of them.
All right, I'm going to ask Bruce first here. Dracula hails from Transylvania, which is part of what country? Here are your choices: Czechoslovakia, Romania, or the Ukraine.
Romania.
What do you say, Tony?
If I remember correctly, I did on him.
Romania?
Yeah.
Yes, you guys are correct.
Whoop, whoop.
And today, by the way, son Colin is visiting Dracula's castle.
Is he
Romania.
really?
Yeah. Today is the tour of Dracula's castle.
That is so cool.
Which ought to give you a hint to the answer to this next question. The character of Dracula is based on a real person. True or false?
True.
Tony?
Yep, true.
That's right. Vlad III, who was affectionately referred to as the Impaler.
Let's hear the bell.
What's the Impaler? I don't even know what Impaler is.
Vlad was kind of an emperor kind of dude, and he was really horrible, and he impaled people. He would kill people, and he liked to. He had a taste for blood. Let's put it that way.
See,
he
I'm
wasn't
actually,
a
I'm
vampire.
actually getting these because my grandson's here.
You getting them? Is he
He's
telling
helping
him?
me, yeah.
Okay, Harlan.
Ew, blood. Ugh.
Here's one for you. Which author fictionized Dracula, creating the modern-day vampire? Was it Charles Dickens, Shelley Clark, or Bram Stoker?
What did you do? Go silent on me?
Charles Dickens, Shelley Clark, or Bram Stoker wrote and fictionized Dracula.
I don't know who it was.
Okay, Harlan, no. Bruce, you got any idea?
Bram Stoker or whatever it is.
Tony?
I don't remember. I'll say that, no, Dickinson, she wrote good books. I'll say the last one, too.
Yeah, okay, you guys would be correct. It was Bram Stoker. Okay. How do you kill Okay, Harlan, try to get this one. How do you kill a vampire? With a wild rose, a stake through the heart, or a silver bullet?
Silver bullet.
Bruce?
Stake through the heart.
Tony?
Yep, I go with the ribeye through the heart.
Yep. You guys are correct. Sorry there, Harlan. Silver bullet will not do it. Now, if it's a werewolf,
that's what
then
a
we're on the
silver
same
bullet
page.
is. Okay.
Yes. All right, here's your bonus. If a stake through the heart of a vampire is removed, can the vampire come back to life?
Yes.
I have no idea.
Take a guess.
I say no.
What do you say, Harlan? Can the vampire come back to life? No? Well, Harlan, sorry, buddy. Yes, but only if he is laid in his original coffin.
Ah.
Then if it's removed, he can come back to life. There you go. Wasn't that fun?
Kind of like the umbilical cord.
So it would be yes and no.
Or do moms save like after baby's birth to help him if they need a blood transfusion? Okay, never mind.
I have no idea what you're talking about. All right, don't go away. We'll be back right after this with the topic for this. Hey, you! Yeah, you! It's the 5th annual Hope Fest. His grace is enough for you. Saturday, October 22nd, this year, 2016, from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. in the incredibly beautiful Prescott Courthouse Plaza in Prescott, Arizona. Live music from local and national recording artists, guest speakers, free family fun zone, the Hope Serves Community Resource Fair, food and vendor booths, and so much more. Be a part of the solution that is recovery. Be a part of the solution that is community. Be a part of the solution that is the solution. That's the 5th annual Hope Fest. His grace is enough for you. Saturday, October 22nd. 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Prescott Courthouse Plaza, Prescott, Arizona. Visit hopefestaz.com for more information and get involved.
Free by the Sea is a drug and alcohol recovery center located in beautiful Ocean Park, Washington. This facility is amazingly gorgeous, but what's even more amazing is the integrity of the staff and the treatment provided for those wishing to recover from narcotic and alcohol addiction. The folks at Free by the Sea have a passion for presenting the solution to addiction for you or your loved one. To speak with an admissions specialist, visit freebythesea.com or call toll-free 800-272-9199. This place is simply amazing.
Welcome back to the show. Here at the Great Reality with Tony and Bruce and Harlan's there in the background. Little Steve Miller there bringing us back with with our bumper music. All right, part 2 of Nasty Meetings. Nasty Meetings, how bad behavior undermines recovery support meetings. There are a lot of things that can undermine a recovery support meeting. These seem to be some of the main ones. If either one of you guys can think of some other ones too, we can talk about those. But let's review real fast. Last week we talked about the use of foul or profane language during a meeting with or without children. We talked about that we're less concerned about that and more concerned about some of these others, but that can undermine it. Telling the newcomer to shut up, sit down, and take the cotton out of their ears and shove it in their mouth isn't probably the kindest way to approach somebody. Interrupting the person sharing in order to correct what you don't agree with. Taking the meeting hostage by the chairperson or anyone. Getting up and walking around during someone's share for coffee or otherwise. Shaking your head or rolling your eyes in disgust while another person shares. Talking to your neighbor during a share. Getting up before the smoke break to have a cigarette. Telling people they can't mention the name of their higher power while sharing. And the last one we left off with was flirting. And we had a letter from a lady who had been approached on several occasions by somebody who was being a little inappropriate, and that was undermining her meeting. This week, we start out with bringing alcohol or narcotics into the meeting. How can bringing alcohol and narcotics into the meeting undermine the support meeting? And we've seen it, haven't you seen it, Bruce? I have.
You bet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, gosh. I think all these things are terrible, but what do you do about them? You know what I mean? That's the thing. And if somebody brought narcotics into a meeting or alcohol into a meeting, I think they should be asked to leave. Mm-hmm. And that's just period. That is put there. Just imagine what it was like when you was a baby in this thing, when you were trying to stay clean and you hadn't made a conscious contact with God.
Right.
Yep.
Just imagine trying to
maneuver that,
get around the obsession to wanting those drugs or wanting that alcohol.
Agreed.
And somebody brings, some dope in the meeting, and I actually saw a guy bring it in, and he was so messed up, he was emptying things out of his pocket, like his keys and change and stuff. Uh-huh. And on the table, there was a bag.
Ooh.
You know. I mean, he was so out of it, he wasn't even aware he was doing that, but he walked in with it on his person. In Narcotics Anonymous, it is common, at least the ones around here, to actually make this statement that those things are not permitted in the meeting, and if you have possession of those things, you are asked to remove yourself from the meeting. You're welcome to come back in, but you must take those things out of here.
Yeah.
They actually say that. You heard that too, Bruce? People
That's
actually
right.
say, yeah. And we don't really hear that in AA meetings.
No.
So if, because most people are, I guess the days of the flask have kind of come and gone, but.
Well, I remembered when I was quote unquote trying to go to AA back in Tacoma. Well, I wasn't even trying. Let me rephrase that. Anyways, in my head, I thought I was. But I brought it to the meeting, but not in the meeting. So this was like my routine, okay? And this was so horrible, but it's what I did. So I would stop at the liquor store because it's on the way to AA.
Right.
Take a few swigs of the cheapest vodka possible, or whiskey possible. Stop at 7-Eleven, get a cocoa, thinking that would cover up the smell of the whiskey. and
then go to the meeting?
Go in with my hot chocolate, be like, yeah, I'm trying to get sober. Da, da, da.
Well, you probably had to take a drink just to be what they used to call to be right.
Yeah, to be comfortable in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that was my ridiculous
yeah, but we have a
normal.
meeting where it was common for people to go into the restroom.
And use.
That's true.
And so,
Yeah.
well, to
use
drink.
or drink or yeah.
And people were aware of it, and
nothing was done.
Nothing was done. See, and if my greatest fear is if I did something, then the whole group would tell me that I'm not allowed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But I mean, I didn't mind walking them out whatsoever.
Yeah.
You know?
Doesn't mean that you're not a member. It just means
You're
that there's
not
certain
ready.
requirements
Yeah.
to be in the meeting.
Yeah.
And people will shoot that thing up. Well, the only requirement for membership.
Oh, yeah.
No one said you're not a member. You just can't be in here, like we said last week, naked and waving a gun around.
And which makes me wonder why, nobody asked me to leave. That's just so weird.
Well, but
I
you were-
never experienced what we're talking about right now.
You were under the influence. You didn't actually bring it into the meeting. There is a difference.
Oh, okay.
Don't you think, Bruce?
There is a difference.
Kind of a subtle one, though, because if you're new and somebody comes in and they're spun or drunk, you might, untreated alcoholism may cause you to go out and drink.
Don't know.
As long as the person is not, disrupting
Disruptive.
the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So she can come in and, we can't stop her from coming in if she's got alcohol on her breath.
Right.
On her breath or she looks a little tipsy.
Yeah.
Maybe this is where she's supposed to be.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe that uncomfortableness that she has to get rid of, that she'll start to hear something about that. And that there's another comfort zone.
Pull your mic towards you there, buddy.
Yeah, that there's another comfort zone.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's important. This next one is just completely nuts. And you know what? I guess there's been at least 5 times that I personally know that somebody's had a firearm. Now, you tell me what you're going to do about that one.
So this one is bringing firearms into the meeting. Now, before we address this, I want to make it very clear, and most people know that listen to the show, I am all for our right to bear arms.
Mm-hmm.
That does not mean I am, putting my stamp of approval on somebody bringing a firearm into a meeting. It makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Where there's a lot,
But-
there's unstable people in the meeting that.
But, however, doesn't the laws of the land trump our traditions, for instance? We're supposed to obey the law. And if you're in a state, where if a person has a concealed weapons permit, aren't they legally by law?
And you're right, and I think that's a huge gray area nobody really likes to touch because
That's
their
sticky,
opinions
isn't
are
it?
their
That's
opinions.
sticky.
It's very
Well,
sticky.
I'm of the opinion that anybody that brings a gun into a Alcoholics Anonymous meeting or a NA meeting is crazy. Because there's somebody in there that either they're afraid is going to upset them. If they get upset, I'm not willing to take a chance that their emotional state won't cost me my life.
And that's why I said when there's unstable people.
What about
in
the
meeting.
guy? I really shouldn't even bring this up because it's so far fetched that it probably would very rarely ever happen.
You never know.
But I'll say it. My father-in-law carries a very small handgun in his butt pack. He's got a concealed carry permit. He's been carrying it all his life. I mean, most of his adult life.
Yeah.
He just does. It's part of his
Wardrobe?
He just does. And if he came to visit a meeting, nobody would even know he had it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a sidearm. It's nothing like that. Is that inappropriate? Nobody would even know. But see, now again, that's a bad example because that would probably very rarely ever
I think
happen.
it's inappropriate.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, if nobody knew, I guess nobody could ask him to take it
they're
out.
not.
Yeah.
I don't, because remember, we have some sick people in there,
Yeah.
and we don't want that person saying something or getting in an argument with somebody that has a gun. If he feels he needs a gun to protect himself, he might be a little bit down himself.
But then again, this could open up a big can of worms
It
in
already
today's
has.
society politically, because what about the times when people have been places where there was a nut with a gun, and if somebody else had a firearm, they could have stopped the murders in the group. And see, that opens up a whole nother
can of
thing.
worms. Yeah, I think the people are also going to pick it apart and like, okay, well, you're saying guns now, but what about people with like pocket knives or and that's going to branch off. I think it is inappropriate, and I think it is okay, but I think it depends on the person, which they don't know if they're stable or not, because there's so many different types of people, so many different level mentalities.
Why do you keep
and
saying
sobrieties.
the person with the gun is stable? I'm telling
No,
you.
I didn't. I said there's stable and unstable people who own firearms.
Yeah.
So it depends on the person.
My father-in-law is very stable.
Yeah.
Very stable. And he has every right to carry a concealed weapon. But it would make me very uneasy.
Yeah, but
if I knew, quite frankly, if he happened to show up to a meeting to visit, for instance, because I know him,
yeah.
I would ask him to leave it in the car.
But it probably happens every day and we don't know.
Probably.
Just saying.
Oh, I bet that happens more than people
More
know.
than we know.
Yeah.
But I think it's inappropriate. I think it's crazy.
So in today's world, where there are lots of more and more people carrying concealed permits, and in some states, like Arizona, you don't have to have a concealed weapons carry permit. You can just carry one.
Yeah.
More and more people are doing this, understandably so, and freakingly so. Would it be appropriate to actually, when people are coming into the rooms, to actually ask them if they have one and if they would leave it outside? Do you solve the problem that way? How would you solve this?
See, and that statement alone, unfortunately, in the world we live in these days, can so easily offend somebody.
Boy, people would get really mad, wouldn't they?
Pissed. Over, like, I
This is why
can hear Walter talking in my head because he's so for guns.
Right.
And he's like, I don't care where I'm at, it's my right, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. But, yeah, I agree, it's everybody's right to own a firearm. Yes, I agree, it's inappropriate. But people are going to do it whether we like it or not, bring them into
Just because it's your right, though, does it make it wise?
No, just...
I don't think so.
Same with the weed thing. Just because weed's
Just 'cause it's legal, does it make it wise?
Yeah.
Can't you see that we're talking about people that are getting that are getting off of drugs and getting
I
off
know.
of alcohol.
Yeah.
I know.
And it just you can't bring guns in there.
No. And that's why I'm like trying to shine both sides.
You can't bring a club in there. If the guy's got a cane like me, you have to be careful.
Good point.
You know?
Anything could be used
Good
as
point.
a weapon.
Yeah, we can't have weapons.
You know, some people have canes that actually, if you open them up,
Yep,
there's
I've seen
there's
those.
There's liquor in them, or a sword.
Yeah.
There's also guns in there too, little tiny
See,
ones.
I've been around people that's done that, and they going around showing it to everybody. Look at this cane I've gotten.
Right.
And
Right.
I was
Right.
just absolutely nervous.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't like that around me.
Yeah, it makes me feel
real
very uncomfortable.
paranoid
Makes
about
me
it.
Yeah.
uncomfortable. Boy, but that we could probably do a
Good
whole
discussion,
We could do a
boys.
whole show on that.
Right?
We really could.
I was liking the vibe there.
He was on,
Wait, go
he
to
was
it.
on it.
Hi, I'm Monty, and I attend an NRAA meeting.
I can't even have a firearm, and I would see both sides of it. Oh, I missed us three together last week.
Okay, now here's one that I put down because I have had experience with this. Showing up in a meeting when you have a stalking order against you.
That's so ridiculous. You have to be the dumbest person on earth. I'm sorry. We're all sick people. Let me rephrase that. We are sick people, but you have to be very sick to know you have something.
I've got a close friend of mine that I worked with. I even sponsored him at one point, and he showed up at a meeting with a stalking order against him.
Him.
Yeah.
And the person was there at the meeting. Right?
The person wasn't there, but they could have showed up at any moment.
He was probably hoping they were showing up.
You know, well, he come in said something about something. I don't know what it was because he's not wrapped too tight at times.
Right.
And
Wrapped it tight.
well, I mean, I
No,
really,
I like that
he's
saying. Yeah, it's a nice
challenged.
way of saying
Yeah.
it.
He's a very challenged individual, and he come in and challenged the group by something he said, and then just got up and left.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "I think I better leave," and I says, "I think so too." And that was the end of it. But he did come there, and he came outside and got himself arrested, for being in the parking lot.
Yeah.
When the person was there, and the person who was there, this person scared him, and they had every single right to call the police and have him picked up at that point.
Yeah.
Of course.
So
if he's mad and thinks he can get away with doing things like that, he's got to be told he
Right.
can't.
Mm-hmm.
There was a gentleman by the name of Jeff N., who was literally stalking my wife and I a few years ago, and several years ago now, actually. And he would show up on our front lawn and threaten to cut our door down with a chainsaw and then cut his arm off because he had HIV and spread his blood all over our house. He not only did that with us, he did that with people at Chance, back when Chance was in the other building. He did it with several people, but he was really targeting us. He showed up at Lynn County Courthouse screaming and yelling, going into the commissioner's office, threatening my wife and all this kind of thing.
Oh, my God.
So restraining orders are different than stalking orders.
Oh, okay.
Stalking order is the ultimate.
Okay.
And they're very difficult to get. But once you have one against somebody, if you are in eyesight, if I see them a mile down the road, but I can see them, I can have them arrested. If I just see them.
Mm-hmm.
So courts take stalking orders very seriously. So when they grant one, they're not messing around, and they're for life. They are for life. So this guy was doing this to me, and he was. We were concerned that he would show up at a meeting, and in fact, one time did. I wasn't there, which was fine. I wasn't there, but if I had been there, by law. Not policy of the 12-step program or anything, but by law, he would have to remove himself. He has so many seconds in order to remove himself. If I wanted to be a real horse's patoot, just the fact that he showed up, I don't have to give him any time to leave. I could call the police and have him arrested, and he would have been put in prison for several years. But here's what happened. It all worked out. But here's what happened. Somebody in the meeting found out that there was a stalking order against them and got all upset that I was keeping them from coming to a meeting.
What?
It had nothing to do with me keeping them from coming to the meeting. I could care less if he had been in the meeting. The law stated, though, once the stalking order was in place, that he couldn't be anywhere where I was. That was the law of the land. And the law of the land trumps the traditions. It just does. Nobody said he couldn't be a member, but he could not attend a meeting where I was at.
Yeah.
Because he was so dangerous.
Yeah.
I
love our
speaking
people.
about guns, our friend I can't think of his name now. I don't like guns. I am all for the right to bear arms. They just kind of creep me out.
Yeah,
for the first time in my life, one of the members from AA who had a handgun at his home gave it to me and loaned it to me because I really believed this guy was going to come through our door.
Yeah.
And so I had possession of it for about a week, and then I gave it back to him. But it was spooky stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm sorry, but if somebody's got a stalking order against them and the other person's in the meeting, you're not allowed in the meeting.
Yeah, no.
Don't you think, Bruce?
That's right.
You just aren't.
Yeah, I mean, it's just right. But there'll be people that'll go to try to get that. It's a rule in the their meeting that you can't keep anybody out and try to let them back in.
Right.
You know.
Oh, Chuck was the one that loaned me the gun. Yeah.
So it's crazy. You know,
It is.
The
It is.
arrogance. The arrogance. If it's somebody's safety, dude, get over the rules or the traditions or whatever. That irks me.
Well, the law is the law, and we're supposed to be learning
Well,
to
that's what I'm
obey
saying.
the law.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, don't make it about you. It
Well,
has nothing to do
and
with
nobody
you.
came to my aid except for a couple guys.
I meant
The rest-
not you
the-
as
the
in
rest-
you, but you as the other person.
The rest of the meeting was all mad at me. And it was me and my wife and my kids whose life was being threatened. This guy, when they put him in jail, he ripped the video camera when it went to the video hearing, ripped the video camera off the wall and was coming after my family. Here's one. Inappropriate sexual innuendos can undermine a support meeting.
I love it.
Oh my goodness.
What a topic.
Tell us why you love this one.
No, I don't think it's appropriate.
Yeah.
You know, it's really not. You know, I've even backed away from saying cute things to people about how they look and their
Yeah, you're looking hot today, Mama.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't say that, right?
I don't even get involved with that anymore because I think it really is inappropriate, and some of the women will say things like this: as long as it's done properly. Well, there is no proper
There's no
way,
proper way to do that.
you know. And sure, it's a backhanded compliment, but that's the way we get into saying other things. And
Right.
so most women realize this, and because I've stopped doing that, that's where God came into the picture and gave me the kind of relationships I've been craving my whole life. Women are not, they're not afraid to sit by me.
Right. Right.
They feel safe
Yeah.
when they sit by me because there is none of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and God did that.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
He never cut me. Anything you give, he gives back tenfold.
Tony, have you ever experienced that? Inappropriate sexual innuendos from people? I know you talked a little bit about
Last week. Yeah. No, not besides, the person, I had to confront last week, or not last week, but we talked about it last week. But, I do have my little group of friends, guys and girls, we joke and stuff, but not like anything directly. So, I mean, we say stuff and we laugh it off, but it's just,
but you guys all know each other really
exactly,
well.
Exactly. But I don't, I've witnessed it. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, oh my God, you actually had the kahunas to say that in the meeting, but I've never experienced it personally.
Some members of the male sex and the female sex, both of them, aren't even ready for you to give them a side hug yet, or a handshake. They're just not there yet. You got to be very respectful of people's bubble. You really do.
Or there's people who think that's the only way of affection, which I was like that for a long time.
But hugs and
yeah. And, and that was in very early recovery, but that's because I had nobody that actually really loved me the right way. So I thought that, was acceptable until, I did my steps first time, figured out what was right from wrong, what was good from bad. And it sounds childish. It really does. But the mentality of where I came from to the mentality I have now and the knowledge I've learned and grow from the steps and, God and, everything is now I can see where it's like, oh, I just was alone and lonely and wanted some type of affection from somebody, as opposed to now I'm like, now it's black and white and there is no gray area.
So I have
will they like me or not? Whether
I have a hard and fast rule, and sometimes I'm not able to enforce it because the person grabs and hugs me so quickly. Mm-hmm. But my hard and fast rule is no frontal hugs with members of the opposite sex. Mm-hmm. Never, 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 never. I give side hugs.
Yeah.
But no frontal hugs. Mm-hmm. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, it makes me extremely uncomfortable because I, as a married man, don't need to be doing that. Mm-hmm. And secondly, it's people are watching. people are watching, waiting for the ball to drop, and I need to be a proper influence as a Christian man. I don't need to be hugging on some beautiful blonde gal, even at a Celebrate Recovery meeting. You know, oh, gee, it's so nice to see you. That's just me. I'm not going to do that. Now, sometimes I can't help. They grab me, you know, and I politely kind of move away and give a side hug. But that's just something I decided in our family. But, you know, what can I say?
You're a gentleman.
Here's one. Bashing members of the faith community, clergy, church, and treatment providers. It's interesting to me that the two entities that support 12-step fellowships the most are the two that get bashed the most.
That's because people have not done the steps right.
That's right.
And because they're relying upon this psychological approach, the meeting, you know, and the people in it, that they'll hear something, you know, then they're going to keep bashing.
Yeah.
If that's bothering you that much, then put it on paper. Let's find out.
Amen.
You know what I mean? Let's take a look at it from another angle.
Right.
Remember what we're doing here. We're trying to find out what's inside of us blocking us from the sunlight of the Spirit.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to go on the way you are, and you want to stay in this trap that we've set for one another, you go ahead and keep bashing other 12-step groups or clergies or people of faith.
Or treatment professionals. We hear treatment being dragged through the mud all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and the reason I point that out as well is because we don't know who's in that meeting. You know, I watched a pastor who had been sober for a number of years, but really wanted to reconnect with people. He just needed some support.
Yeah.
And he walked into a meeting that was over by the freeway at the time, walked into the meeting and sat there and listened to 30 minutes of people weren't sharing that they had a bad experience in church. They were ripping on preachers and people that claimed Jesus and all that. He never came back. You know, I've seen treatment providers have to go counties away from where they live, so nobody knows who they are, you know, because of their position in treatment. Now that's wise, but at the same time, some of them won't come back. And listen, people that are in this profession will be the first to tell you, being in the profession is not. They cannot lean on that as their program.
Well, yeah.
And they tend to do that because they're around it all the time. But they can't, and it's very difficult for them to find meetings because they're getting bashed constantly. I know a guy who was a very committed Catholic, and they're making fun about nuns. They're criticizing. They're you know, I'm a recovered Catholic.
I hate that.
Stuff like that. And I'm like, that is totally inappropriate.
It is.
You want to alienate people? Bash what they consider is important to them, and you'll alienate them.
Well, and it's always funny because we hear, you know, all people from all walks of life, and then you're like, oh, you come from the church. Oh, you come from treatment. Oh, you know, just the steps and the AA, and, you know, you're God of sort. But then we turn around in the same sentence and say, that's not going to help you. 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 So how is that helping a brother or sister stay sober or get sober or even want to come back? It happens every day in the meetings and in the rooms. And it's one thing I really have to learn to like tune out. But that's unfortunate. I shouldn't have to tune out any part of my meeting because that's what helps me stay sober and sharing my experience, strength, and hope. And then after I do about treatment, and actually Jack did it. I love you, Jack. The other week when he was standing in for Bruce, he's like, well, he didn't say it as a negative way, but he said it as that's not going to help anybody. And I really, I love the man, best friends, you know, but, I kind of I got a little rubbed wrong by that. Because everybody has their own choice of path of sobriety, what's going to work for them or not. But
well, we don't know what God's up to.
Well,
sometimes.
Exactly. I had to get arrested by the feds to get sober.
Right.
You know,
well, he keeps relapsing, go to jail. He isn't serious.
Exactly.
Well, I don't know that. I used to say things like that, but I just don't know anymore. It's just not my place. I'm learning, and Bruce has taught me that. I'm learning more to listen to where I can be a maximum service then instead of jumping to conclusions about what you mean by that.
Well, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like people think they know better than the other person. No, we're the same type of people inside, in our heads.
Don't you find that to be a real struggle within you?
Oh, absolutely.
As we're listening to, trying to do this, but that's why we should be meditating and praying right in the meeting.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
Take this bitterness from me. And
you bet.
then I might be of better service to you.
Yeah.
If he could just stabilize you and you can start to hear what the person's saying. You know what they're suffering, so you know how to approach it.
Right.
See?
I'm still learning.
And you go, me too, brother.
Yeah.
Me too. And you know what? I found a solution to that. Okay. And that's powerful stuff, see, when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what the meetings are for. They're there for you, for us that have found the Lord to
share that love, to share that
yeah.
And here's one that I don't have it down here, but I just thought of it. Doggone it, folks! If you're out there and you are slamming sex offenders, you don't know who is sitting next to you that has been convicted of a sex offense and may even be innocent, but they've got that label. Or even if they were guilty, but their life is turned around, or maybe they were violated by a sex offender. And I heard this not long ago. Well, it's only so and so is a very strong person. Only we people get violated by sex offenders. What?
What does that even mean?
Yeah, and so, gosh darn it, you don't know who's in the meeting.
Yeah.
Stop assuming that everybody's a wealth of mental wellness. Gee willikers. So here's one: bashing people of LGBT community, ethnic groups, and lifestyles different from your own.
I hate this one.
I know, me too.
Yeah. Because, I hear that underlying dig into little side trips that people take, you know what I mean? And they'll say it under their breath. But there's people in the meetings that are of that
persuasion or whatever. Yeah.
So
and you're tearing them down.
Yeah, I'm here to finally stop looking at these other people and start looking at me. What am I doing in a meeting looking at other people, down in them?
Yeah.
Isn't that the same old behavior?
Yes, it is.
See? We can point it in 1,000 ways. So I hate it when people do that. And I hate it when they make other people uncomfortable. We are there for recovery. We really, really are.
Yeah.
And so that's one that just really upsets me. And that's one that took a long time for me. And it took the God to open my heart to where I could feel love for people like this.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, I don't, I'm not of that persuasion. I don't believe it's right in the eyes of the Lord. But that doesn't mean that I'm supposed to degrade these people.
No, because then you turn into a hater.
Yeah. A one-on-one, if they want to know what mine is or why I feel this way, I'll talk to them about it. If they don't want to work with me, then they don't have to do that.
Yeah.
But I let them know how
I
feel.
You've sponsored people that were gay, haven't you?
For a while, I thought that people thought I was gay because, I had so many gays that would come to me. And I've even sponsored a lesbian.
Right.
You see?
Right.
And
you're able to do that because of the love of the Lord in your life.
That's right.
Not your own agenda.
That's right.
Right.
That's exactly right. To try to help.
Yeah.
The best I can. And of course I don't have a lot of people now. I just, one of my closest friends in this program passed away. It was gay because he couldn't change his lifestyle, and he went back out and started drinking, and he's passed away now.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
when I hear that in the rooms, my answers, and I make sure to say it when I hear a certain slash to their lifestyle. I look at the person who just shared, and I'm like, listen, we're all God's children. He has no grandchildren. There's nothing different about any of us.
God's love is offered to all men and women.
Yep.
Yeah.
Why are you laughing?
Sometimes she says some wonderful things. I mean, like, yeah, God.
Oh, it's a good laugh. So
God has no grandchildren.
yeah, actually, my sponsor said that once, and it stuck with me. And so whenever I hear somebody bash somebody, I always, instead of getting mad anymore, I just say, "Look, God has, or we're all God's children. He has no grandchildren."
Yeah, I told him.
And that kind of shuts him up.
I told my spiritual advisor I was really upset about this guy that he'd make these racial remarks all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he has this real thing against blacks and people of color. And he says, yeah, well, just tell him that he better get used to him because they're going to be his brother in heaven.
Yep, and you can use that in any situation. We're all God's children. He has no grandchildren.
So the last one here is one that is so common and seems to be thriving and alive and well.
Yep.
Bashing other 12-step groups.
That's a big one here in Albany.
And it depends on the geographical area that you live, whether it's let's look at the two biggies. Narcotics Anonymous members bashing AA or AA members bashing NA. You'll get a heavier flavor of one or the other depending on where you live. And it is so inappropriate and so unnecessary.
It is.
It's come on. You know what I mean? It's just not. It just drives me loony. And it's interesting because in the NA basic text, in the introduction, and an introduction is always the foundation to the book you're about to read. It makes the statement, and it says, we, means the members of Narcotics Anonymous, follow the same path, it's referring to Alcoholics Anonymous, with a single exception. And then it goes on to explain the way they describe, addiction as being all-inclusive. But that's the only exception. So if you follow the same path, that means you follow the same traditions. It means you follow the same steps. It means you follow the same path. You either do or you don't. And in the literature, which is the program, you do. So why would you be bashing an organization that if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't even exist?
I actually had and she's still in recovery, but not in active recovery. But she said the reason that us NA people, and this is quoting her, I won't say who she is, the reason we bash you guys, meaning AA members, is because you think you have to believe in a higher power and we don't. And I was like, what?
Well, then she doesn't read her literature.
No.
She doesn't read her literature. It may not say God, but it does say higher power.
Well, yeah.
She doesn't even.
That's what I'm saying. She's not in active recovery. And I looked at her, and I know her very well. And I looked at her, I was like, do you know how stupid that just sounded? It's not even right.
Oh my gosh! And AA people do it with NA
exactly.
people.
Vice versa.
As if alcohol is a flower or a piece of wood or something. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's a drug for crying out loud. So I said to a guy named Dave one time who said, "We don't talk about drugs in here," and I was like, "Well, wait a minute, brother. Are you an alcoholic? Yes. Mm-hmm. You're allergic to alcohol? Yes. And alcohol's what? What do you mean, what? I go, what is it? According to the American Medical Association and everybody on the planet, what is alcohol? Well, it's a drug. Okay, and according to Alcoholics Anonymous, the fellowship you claim membership in, alcoholism is an addiction. It's in the book. Mm-hmm. Therefore, if you're an alcoholic, you are a drug addict. Oh, I don't even know if he still talks to me today. I mean, but the point of it is we don't know what we're saying half the time. Stop and think, people. Now, yes, is it a different animal if you're purely an alcoholic as far as chemically and medically? Yeah, it can be. But why this right fighting and bashing each other? I mean, holy moly, it's totally, again, you don't know who's in the meeting. You don't know who's there. And a lot of times, the people that are doing this, They're members of both groups.
Oh, well, yeah. You're right. I never even noticed that. You're right.
Have you ever heard the difference between somebody that comes in that's just a newcomer, and they're upset with one group, so they're coming to another
To the
group?
other one, yeah.
There's very little real bashing. They just might mention this.
Right.
Or as part of their conversation. But then there's the basher.
Yeah.
The one that wants to...
That picks up on that?
Yeah.
And then it just
Feeds
starts
off
to
of it.
spread?
Yeah.
See, so it's really, we have to be careful again. I think that if we could set a rule and actually stuck by it, and the chairperson was able to say, we don't do that here.
Right.
See, and that's what we lack these days. I'll do it. Yeah. I'm not afraid to say anything, but the chairperson these days are too scared to jump in and cut people off.
Because there's such controversy. There's all these different ideas. We're not of one accord when it comes to the solution.
Yeah, we don't have the unity when it comes to the solution.
Yeah.
So we're all over the map.
Yeah.
And let me actually correct myself. Besides that one guy we were talking about last week, I tried once with him. I'm like, pick and choose my battles, Tony. Pick and choose.
Yeah, so we need a little bit more, structure around that. And I think as we grow, we have these pains. But who expected this to be in the millions? You know what I mean?
Right.
Who expected
exactly.
this to be in every... Yeah.
It's one thing when you're, the first 45 or something, but man.
See, Bill and Bob didn't realize that when this thing grew like it is, that there's a real tendency for it to implode.
You bet.
And that's what's happening. AA's not dying from the outside.
No.
They're dying because of what's going on in the inside.
Yep. Yep. You betcha. Well, listen, I hope you're enjoying the Olympics.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how long a parade can go on, but I actually turned the channel the other day at the opening ceremonies because it went on and on and
forever
on and on. But if you're into the Olympics, great. Good for you. I'm not a very sports-minded guy. I like the Winter Olympics better anyway. So we hope you're doing that. If you're going to a meeting that is nasty and ugly and that kind of thing, and you are in a community where there is large amounts of these groups, listen, it's just like church. I didn't want to be a church hopper. I didn't want to be a meeting hopper. I wanted to find a home, someplace I could come, and plug in. And that's important. It's not that the place you plug in is going to save you or even keep you sober, but we need community.
Yeah.
I heard about the 12 steps, which pointed me to God at a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So and I'll say it again, and I always get flack for it. If you're in a meeting and it's not about helping you find a relationship with the Creator to help you solve your problem, you're in a bad group. Mm-hmm. Bottom line, it's not AA. That's for sure.
Are we bashing meetings now?
Yeah, but I'm not in a meeting though. I'm not in a meeting doing that. Here's my justification. All right.
Don't you find that funny though? See,
I do find that funny.
We could go beyond talking, and that's what I was talking about. See, there comes a point when this thing becomes bashing, like he's talking about.
Yeah,
coming in there, and that's when I think we have the right to say something.
Yes.
And it's real hard if you have a member say, hey, we don't do that in this group, because then people really start to pick on him.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
See, so it has to come from the chairperson.
Yeah.
The person that's controlling the atmosphere.
Right. So this is a song I played before. It's been quite a long time, but I thought it was, I don't know. Listen, if you're wondering what's going on and you just can't figure it out, and God keeps coming to you and giving you the answers and you're turning him away, you may want to consider some of the answers he's bringing to you. Let's put it that way as an intro to this song. This is Jerry Vandiver with his song, Two Boats, and a Helicopter.
clouds started building one Sunday morning. The weatherman put out a flash flood warning. The preacher said all you gotta do is believe that God'll take care of you and me. And the water started rising. Monday ushered in a record storm. The water started coming through the church front door. The neighbor in a rowboat offered relief. Preacher said no thanks, God'll save me. And the water kept rising. Tuesday the river still hadn't crested. The National Guard started Operation Rescue. Sent a motorboat up to Preacher Street. He waved them off saying God'll save me. And the water kept rising. Wednesday, preacher had the rooftop straddled. Chopper flew over and dropped down a ladder. Everybody saw it there on the TV. Just said, no, God'll save me. Now he's standing at the pearly gates, asking God why he didn't reward his faith. God replies that he made 3 offers. He said, I sent 2 boats and a helicopter. And the water stopped rising. The water stopped rising. Just stopped.
Well, don't forget you can download this show as well as archives of our show by going to take12radio.com. That's the number 12 or the word 12. It doesn't matter. I'll take you to the same place. Click on Follow Us on Podomatic. You can sign up for Podomatic for fun and for free. You can do it even through your Facebook account. They'll never spam you. You can download our shows, keep them, save them to a playlist. Share them with your friends. Listen until our next broadcast. This is the Monty Man with a special thank you to Tony and to Bruce. And we're wishing God's perfect serenity for you. Bye-bye now.
This has been a broadcast of Take 12 Recovery Radio and KHLT Recovery Broadcasting.
Kitty, 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 kitty.